Hey y'all, it's Friday. Happy Friday. So we have a new lesson today. I hope that you enjoyed that little bit of a break and were able to catch up. I am going to post the homework at some point today. I need to see who all's turned theirs in, give people a 0 if they haven't yet. And then I will post that homework assignment so you can check that homework as well. Several people text me and said, are you checking it for accuracy or completion? Just like before, it's just completion. However, I do want you attempting to get the answers correct, of course, and messaging me if it is not correct. And then starting next week, when we come back from spring break, it will be kind of a completion and accuracy, whereas you get your points for just completing it, and then I'll pick 2 of the problems to check for accuracy just to make sure you are understanding. So, but for right now, just completion, and I haven't been marking anybody late points. I know some people are still just figuring all this out, so I haven't been taking any points off for it being late, but again, after spring break, we will discuss how we are going to move forward. Okay, so here we go. Let's knock this lesson out as quick as we can because I'm doing this at 10 p.m. So I need to go to bed. But it's the only time my kids are asleep. Okay, so today's lesson is March the 20th. It is going to be due back to me. Your homework assignment is going to be due March the 30th at 2 p.m. Okay, so you do not have to do this during spring break. You can procrastinate and wait and do it on that Monday as long as you get it to me before 2 p.m. Okay, for those of you that don't want to wait, you're able to do it over spring break or whenever you want to, but this lesson is due at this time. Again, this notes and this lesson is here just to help you. The homework is the only thing that you need to submit to me. Lots of people are messaging me and saying, Ms. Cole, I'm just going to send you my homework on Remind. I can't get it to send on Google Classroom, which to you, you're just one person, but you guys, I'm getting this from 15, 20 people, and then I have to remember who turned in their homework where and when. And it's just too much. So I need you guys to figure out how to get it into Google Classroom. Your classmates are getting it, so contact them, figure out what you're doing wrong. You have to be logged into your Cato Google account or they won't allow you to do things. So only send it to me through Remind if it is just absolutely you have to. Because what's going to end up happening is I'm going to give you a 0 because it's not in Google Classroom, and then you're going to be like, I sent it to you on Remind, and then I'm going to have to go back and check Remind. So please, please, please try to get it in Google Classroom so that I don't lose my mind through all of this. Okay? All right, so today's lesson, it says a composite figure is a figure that can be separated into regions that are basic figures like triangles, parallelograms, trapezoids, rectangles, and circles. To find the area of the composite figure, divide up the regions and find each area. Then add the sum. Then find the sum of the areas. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Pretty basic, but we are going to go over how to do that. So if we look at this, you have 2 shapes. Number 1 is 2 shapes. We have a rectangle and we have a trapezoid. Okay, so I am going to find the area of both of those individually and then add them together. Ta-da! Rectangle. To find the area of a rectangle, I'm doing length times width. So for my rectangle, the length we can say is 23 and the width is 12. So I'm using 23 and 12, not 18. 18 is the entire thing, okay? So 23 times 12 is 276, okay? And that would be centimeters squared. Now for my trapezoid, I guess I should probably not write trap. Trapezoid. So this trapezoid down here has got whatever height 18 and 12, the difference between those. So what's 18 minus 12? Is that 6? Yeah. I think so. Nobody's talking to me. Yep, 6. All right, so that's the height, and then you need your two bases because to find the area of a trapezoid, you're taking half of the height times base 1 plus base 2. So half of the height, which we just found is 6, base 1 could be 15, and then base 2 is 23, because if that's 23, this is 23. And then you're just typing that in your calculator. So half of 6, 15 plus 23, that is 114 centimeters squared. So the composite figure is going to be the sum of that. So I'm taking that 276 and I'm adding 114 to that, and that gives me 390 centimeters squared. That is the area of the composite figure. Everybody good with that? All right, look at number 2. Number 2 is crazy. Basically what it is they've taken a circle and they've like widened it out. So this is a semicircle, this is a semicircle, but 2 semicircles gives you a circle. So we need to find the area of a full circle and then the area of a parallelogram. Y'all, if something's spelled wrong, like, I don't know, forgive me. Alright, so to find the area of a circle, I am doing pi r squared. So pi, the radius from the center to the edge, is 6 squared. So pi r, which is 6 squared, gives me 113.97. Okay, so we probably could have just said 113.1. Then the parallelogram, remember for a parallelogram, it is the base times the height because it's basically a triangle. Okay, so the base of this is going to be 6 here and 6 there, which is 12. And the height is going to be 5. So 12 times 5 is 60. To get the composite, we add those together. So that is going to be 173.1 inches squared. Next, we have a rectangle, a triangle, and a semicircle. So 3 shapes. So I'm going to start with the area of a rectangle, okay, which is going to be length times width. Now, this is telling us that the whole thing is 26, not the length, so I can't start with that. That's fine. We can figure this out because what we would do is take, well, heck, I don't know what we would do. Let's see what they did. Pause. Let me figure this question out. Okay, I'm real dumb. So, I'm stupid. But if this is 9, this is 9. Which, duh. Which means if we had another radius going straight down this way, it would also be 9. So we would take 9 away from 26. So 26 minus 9 is 17, right? Yes, so this is 17. That was very not smart, so my bad. So 9 times 17, okay? 9 times 17 is 153 feet squared. That's the area of the rectangle. Everybody understand how I got that? The top of this is 9, which means the bottom is 9. Well, that's the radius of our circle. So this would also be a radius, which would mean this would be 9. I just took the 9 away from 26. That left me with 17. Okay, so if this is 7, that means this little dotted part is 10. If this radius is 9, this radius is 9. So we can then find the area of the triangle. To find the area of the triangle, you are doing 1/2 base times height. The base of your triangle is 9. The height of your triangle is 10. So half of 90 would be 45 feet squared. The last shape is our semicircle. So you're going to do half of pi r squared to find the area of that. So half of pi, the radius is 9 squared. So I'm going to type that one in my calculator, times pi, and then the radius is 9 squared, which gives me 127.2. Several people messaged me and said, Ms. Cole, my answers are different than yours when I use 3.14. That's fine. I realize that not everyone has these fancy calculators at home, so don't worry. There are a couple people that said they downloaded an app that is a scientific calculator, so that's cool. But to get this answer, we just add all three of those together, and that is going to give me 325.2 feet squared. Sorry, y'all. That took me a second. Okay. The diameter of our semicircle here is 16, which means this is 8 and this is 8. To find the height of this, we would make that vertex here reach up and be perpendicular. That creates a 90-degree angle, which means we have a right triangle. We have a leg that's 8, a hypotenuse that is 17. So I do 8 squared plus x squared equals 17 squared. 64, 225 plus x squared. I subtract out 64. X squared equals, what's that? 225 minus 64. That's 161. Did I mess that up? Yes. This is 289, y'all. So when I subtract, it's 225. That is going to give me 15. So x equals 15. So the height is 15. So for my two shapes, I've got my semicircle. So that's half of pi r squared. So half of pi 8 squared. That is 100.5. And then we have our triangle. You need 1/2 base times height. The base is the entire base, 16. The height is what we found, which is 15. So 15 times 16 divided by 2 is 120. Together, that gives me 220.5 meters squared. All right, we're moving. All right, this next one is Crazy Town. Okay, we have to start with the triangle here. We know this hypotenuse. We know this leg is 9.6. We're solving for this leg. So, y'all cannot even see anything that I just said. So we're starting with this triangle. We know the hypotenuse is 12. We know that this is 9.6. So we're looking for this side here. So 9.6 squared plus x squared equals 12 squared. 12 squared is 144. 9.6 squared is 92.16. Subtract that out. That gives me 51.84. Take the square root of that. That gives me 7.2. Straight up 7.2. I did not round. That just is what it gave me. So that means this is 7.2 and so is this 7.2. So that means our square has sides that are 14.4. And that would mean that the height of this would be 25.4 minus 14.4, which is 11. That's what we need to find everything. So we just found all of our parts. So let's do it. We're going to start with this triangle out here on the side. So that would be 1/2 the base times height. 1/2, your base would be the entire base, which would be 14.4. The height is 9.6. Okay, that's the triangle. Then we would find the square. The square is side squared, so that would be 14.4 squared. And then we also have, what else? A trapezoid. Okay, to find a trapezoid, you have to do 1/2 the height, and then base 1 plus base 2. So half of the height, which we found out is 11. Base 1 could be 10, and base 2 would be 14.4. So then, to get your answer, you just do this math, do this math, do this math, add them all up. That gives you your answers. It would be meters squared. For time's sake, I'm moving on. All right, shaded regions. Okay, so to find the area of the shaded region, find the area of the entire figure, then subtract the area of the non-shaded regions. Okay, so we need to find the whole area of the square, which would be side squared, which is 25 squared. 25 squared is 625 feet squared. That's the entire region. Okay, now what I'm subtracting out is a circle. To find the area of the circle, I need pi r squared. Well, we need the radius. The radius is half of the diameter, which would be 25. So half of that is 12.5. So pi times 12.5 squared. Pi 12.5 squared is 490.9 feet squared, and then I subtract. So 625 minus 490.9 gives me 134.1 feet squared. That's the shaded region. Next, the big region, the entire thing that you're looking at is a rectangle. Length times width, 14 times 25, which is 350 centimeters squared. Then I am going to find the triangle. The triangle is going to be 1/2 base times height. 1/2 the base would have to be 25. The height is 11. So 25 times 11 divided by 2 is 137.5 centimeters squared, and we subtract those. 350 minus 137.5 is 212.5. I'm going to make sure I'm doing this right. Yep. Perfect, and that's centimeters squared. 2 more, you guys. Power through. Yeah. Pause. Okay, sorry. All right, semicircle. Okay, is 1/2 pi r squared. So half of pi, and then the radius. Okay, we have to find that. So this is a right triangle here, which means this is a leg, this is a leg. I'm looking for the hypotenuse. So 9 squared plus 21.6 squared equals my hypotenuse squared. So 9 squared plus 21.6 squared equals 547.56. I take the square root of that. That equals 23.4. Now that's the diameter. So I'm going to take half of that. So that is 11.7 squared. If you didn't get that, rewind it and watch it again. Then I'm going to take the half of pi times the radius, and I'm going to square that. So I'm typing this in my calculator is all I'm doing, and that gives me 215.0. So I guess I got to put a 2 there or a 3 there. Okay, then I'm going to subtract out the triangle. All right, the triangle is 1/2 base times height. The base is 9 and the height is 21.6. Remember, the hypotenuse is never the base or the height, so it's your legs. So then I just type that in my calculator. That gives me 97.2, and I subtract 215.03 minus 97.2. That gives me 117.83 meters squared. Last one, you guys, last one. Okay, this one's actually going to have to be 3 shapes, I think. Now, you cannot assume this is a square, okay? You know that this is 17 and this is 17, which means that this would be 20, because 17 plus 20 gives you 37. Now, this is a right angle, so we could find the other leg using the Pythagorean theorem. So 20 squared plus x squared equals 25 squared, because that's the hypotenuse. 20 squared is 400, right? Yeah. Plus x squared, 25 squared equals 625. Subtract out 400. That's 225. Take the square root of that. That's 15, right? I feel like Wyatt is like laughing at me. I know he's not watching this video, but if he was, he would be laughing at me. So this is 15, okay? Which means if this is 15, that is going to be half of 15 for the radius, so 7.5 is going to be my radius. Okay, so I'm going to start with finding, this one's going to be tricky. I'm looking for the shaded region. So I'm going to start with finding the triangle, because that's all shaded. Okay, so that whole thing is going to be part of my sum. That's the base, or 1/2 the base times height. Remember that your base is your leg and your height is your leg, not the hypotenuse. Okay, so half of 20 times 15 equals 150. Okay, and that's inches squared. That is part of the shaded region. This is 150 right here. Now, I can then find the rectangle. So your rectangle is length times width, which is 17 times 15. 17 times 15 equals 255. Now, that whole thing is not included. I have to subtract out the semicircle. So the semicircle is half of pi r squared, so 1/2 pi. The radius is 7.5 squared. So half of pi r squared, which is 88.4. So I'm subtracting 255 minus 88.4, and that gives me 166.6. Now, this is the shaded portion of the rectangle, and then I need to add the 150 to that. So the shaded portion is 316.6 inches squared. Ta-da! Okay, you have homework. That homework is going to be due on the 30th at 2 p.m. So you are more than welcome to do nothing today and wake up Monday the 30th and do your work. That's fine with me. Doesn't matter. Or you can do it today and be done with it and not have anything to do. You decide. Okay? Now, make sure that you are checking in on the 30th to do your attendance. Every single day you need to do the attendance. We are keeping up with that. And at the end of this whole thing, I have to say, Kristen Cole showed up 30 of the 30 days, or Kristen Cole showed up 2 of the 30 days. So you need to make sure you're checking in every single day. I hope you guys have a great spring break. If you have watched all 25 minutes of this, you are amazing. You are the MVP, and I am so proud of you. So y'all keep working hard. Y'all are making me so proud. And again, if you haven't heard from me and you have message me again. I'm slowly losing my mind with all of this technology. All right, love y'all. Talk to you later.